The INKspired Life. The INKspired Life, Architecture plus Urban Sketching. That's the name. The INKspired Life, Architecture and Urban Sketching asks, I teach high school CAD. That's computer-aided design. Suggestions for creating a creative design environment in the classroom. Yeah, you gotta, new skill acquisition for me has always been based on desire. My shop assistant, I literally today, I gave my shop assistant one of the bamboo carbon 3D printers I have here at the cave to take home to muck around with 3D printing so that he understands 3D printing and we can do some more stuff with my 3D printers. And he said, what is the best thing for me to print to get to know this printer? And I said, print something you want. I can't stress that enough. Like, when you want something, you're going to be invested in it arriving. And desire is a fantastic motivator. Wanting a certain thing out of the execution rather than, I just want to get to know stained glass a little better. Well, why don't you think about a place in your house that could use that beautiful light of stained glass, and then look at 1,000 pictures of stained glass and start to infuse in yourself what you'd like to do with it. So my suggestion for teaching high school CAD and you want to create a creative design environment, is let them cut loose. And I mean, part of the ways that you could engender that would be like putting up examples of CAD on the walls that range as far and wide as can be imagined. Really showing a crazy breadth. And I don't mean from like the sacred to the profane or the simple to the complex. I mean like from the super esoteric to the high pop culture. It's frankly within pop culture, you're often going to find a lot of intersection of desire for a thing. And I think that's totally reasonable. And I have met artists and makers and engineers who hate the idea of kids making pop culture based crap. They think it's they think it's recapitulation. I personally don't care where someone gets interested in creating something. I just want the act of creation to occur. The other thing is if you're teaching computer-aided design in high school, this is a tremendous skill to have. As far as I can tell, as I go out into the world and look at models for 3D printing, there still are not enough good CAD artists out there in the world. I'll tell you just this one thing that I got from ILM years ago that I think is really great, which is if you're gonna have them get good at drawing stuff, it's really important for a portfolio to have something in your portfolio that everyone knows what it should look like. So on one sense, it could be something like, you know, the spinner from Blade Runner, but if it's your own take on the spinner from Blade Runner, I have no idea what you started with. That part will be fine. But if it's like a tape measure, everyone knows what a tape measure looks like. And when I'm a supervisor and you show me that you can replicate something that I know what it should look like, then I know that you can be useful to me. Because most of the work you're going to do for other people is going to be work for hire, not stuff you design. And you better get good at that work for hire if you want to do that work for hire. Dave Delaney says, how do you feel your need to be creative and to make stuff while traveling? I am a carpenter by profession and a woodworker by hobby, and I find it difficult to satisfy my desire to create while on the road. I never don't bring a sketchbook with me when I travel. No matter how short my travel is, there is always a sketchbook in my bag. With idle time, I will crack open that sketchbook and just make lists. At the most basic level, list making is sort of the first intersection if I don't have anything else I can think of doing. And lists always end up bringing up more stuff to design on a project. I also travel with a laptop, and on the laptop is my creative projects folder. And that's almost 2 terabytes now of images, well over 200,000 images across, I don't even know how many subfolders, hundreds of folders and thousands, if not tens of thousands of subfolders. And the computer, and specifically Adobe Bridge, which for me is the best possible photo thumbnail computer surf software. Bridge is a fantastic way for me to open a project back up into my head, sitting there going through folders. Or if it's something that's just occurred to me, I'll start gathering stuff into a folder. But it really is that. It's from the creative projects folder on my computer and a sketchbook. And frankly, you're a woodworker. There are problems you have to solve on paper, right? There are plans you can make cut lists out there. I find even just making cut lists to be a very satisfying work execution. Making hardware lists, man, there's always so much I don't think about until I give myself that space to think through a project and sort of walk it through and execute it. Righteous Robot says, how often do you sketch without the intention of making what you sketch? I always intend to make what I'm sketching. No, intent is not the right word. I always want to make the thing that I'm sketching. The desire is the beginning. The intent comes when I feel like it's executable, or that the execution will be difficult enough to be interesting, or I just have all the parts and pieces. I'm working on this really weird build right now, and it involves getting lots of different strange parts from different kinds of industries. And a lot of it is just me sort of finding out about things I didn't know about, like little tiny M2 hex-headed bolts. Much of this build is in metric, which is, can I just say, one of the things about metric versus imperial, and I'm imperial, I grew up imperial, I think in imperial, I think in inches, miles, gallons, etc. But metric bolts are much easier to find. Metric nuts and bolts are much easier to find the thing that you need than imperial nuts and bolts. And it's really specifically because just entering in a 1 3/4 inch Deming bit, there's like so many ways 1 3/4 can be formatted. And you couple that with late stage capitalism and the fact that no search box in any commerce site is actually going to yield exactly what you want because they're going to try to sell you stuff. Sorry, I was ranting and I forgot what the original question was. Righteous Robot, right. How often do you sketch without the intent of making what you sketch? The desire is there for everything that I sketch. Absolutely. The intent comes later. Charles M. wants to know if there's a specific genre of music that I like that helps me stay focused. He listens to, or they listen to, jazz or classical while coding. I love pop music. I love pop music. I also love, I love Wilco and Ryan Adams and stuff that isn't that poppy, but pop music is really like at my center, man, and is all those weekends in my childhood of building Legos in my room, listening to Casey Kasem count down the American Top 40. And David T's question is germane to this, wants to know if I'm a Swiftie. Now, I don't think I could classify myself as a Swiftie per se, but I love Taylor Swift. I love her music. I love how open Taylor is about the realities and the tribulations of being a business professional in the music industry. I love the struggles. I love the way she talked about the struggles of buying her catalog back, re-releasing her masters, etc. It's a window into that, she works at the highest level of art and commerce. I'm not saying it's the best art. I'm not saying it's the highest commerce, but it really is the intersection of the two of those at an incredibly high level. And a lot of the information we get out of those levels of art and commerce are speculation. So it is, and agreed, she's putting out a message that has been crafted, and she has a goal and people that she works on that goal with. I totally understand that it's not like fully organic, and yet I feel like I see a real person in there talking about that stuff, and I appreciate that. And also, her music's banging. I love it. I listen to All Too Well weirdly frequently. I just really enjoy that song. It's funny, the mix of music. I can't listen to music while I'm shooting. I mean, I can, but it means that they're kind of just going to have to ramp that footage. Ramp means make it fast, so it looks like I'm, hammering and drilling everything at a feverish pace. Sometimes we put stuff up for tested patrons. It's non-monetized, and then you can hear our soundtrack. Even still, there are some musicians who we are not allowed to put in that format. I think the Beatles are one of them, of course. But I actually would love to hear more music during the day than I do. But the realities of filming and working here are such that is not often. It's not to say not often. Let's say I listen to whatever music I want about a third of the time, and the rest of the time I'm kind of building in silence or talking to the camera.
Thank you for watching that video. Are you as sick of the tosses to membership as I am? Good, because here's a brand new one that I recorded today, and it's nice and short. There are 3 tiers to tested membership, and they all offer awesome stuff. Find out about it by clicking the join link below. We'll see you there.